Welcome in. I'm happy to be here. Like our friend here, Hale said, I am going to be commentating the Shadow of Rose DLC No Hit here, attempted by NoNiQ. And yeah. Are you ready, Noni, for this?
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, so on my count, we will start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
Bye.
All right, perfect. So I'm going to try my best to sort of explain a little bit, but leave a bit of crumbs for later, because there's going to be moments where it's just nothing's going to be happening, and that's going to be a really good moment for me to talk a little bit about the game and the plot and everything. But just so you guys know, this is the DLC of the Resident Evil 8, also known as Resident Evil Village. And the first thing you're going to notice real quickly here is that instead of playing in first-person shooter, we're actually in third-person shooter, which is kind of interesting. So we are playing as Rose, which is Ethan's daughter. And basically, we're inside this weird realm in which there are... Our character really wants to find a way to eliminate her abilities, and so inside this whole place, and it's around here. And so the whole idea is like, I enter this realm willingly. I try to find a certain crystal that will take away my powers, so I can be a normal girl again in my human society. And that's all she wrote. So this is just the beginning of it. As far as Rose is concerned, she doesn't know where she's in. So it's going to be a bit of a wild ride. If you guys have played already Village before, then there's going to be a lot of areas in which you're going to be pretty... it's going to be pretty familiar for you. And so the reason behind that is because we're sort of going through some of the events that happened with Rose's father, which is Ethan. And this is not memories got taken from directly from Ethan. This is memories inside the, basically what they call like the Black God or the Mega Mycete. And it's just past stuff that's happened within the events of Ethan. And this sort of Black God has been seeing everything, absorbing everything, and the Rose is just going through through it all. So what you see in the walls and the floors and everything, this is basically the Mega Mycete in a way. So we just picked up a key. This key is to open, to just check if there was something in here, but turns out to be another copy of ourselves. So this is where things, you have a lot of questions like, why does she look like me? Is she even real? Should I be concerned? And so our task here is to just let her lead us to basically where we want to go. She doesn't speak at all. So yeah, nothing too much is happening. This is just a bit of a setting to just get the player into sort of like understanding what's sort of like the how do you call this, the atmosphere that they want to put into the player. And so here is what's going to happen is like our sort of NPC is going to be looking at the cells and everything. And normally what you do is, in a casual playthrough, you kind of like wait till the game kind of tells you like, oh, maybe check some other places. But we can skip all that and just dip straight to where we should go, which is what Noni is doing right here. We might see some jump scares here and there, potentially. Probably around here. And the other thing is that we don't know why she is faceless. Also, by the way, mind you, if there's a little bit of a delay, I apologize, but on my side, but that's okay. Let me move this out of the way. So yeah, so now we're gonna go back to where we were and see what's actually like, why were there screams and stuff. And then it turns out that there's faceless who are now taking over of the other prisoners, which also look like us. And immediately we get into the first sort of combat of the game, we're supposed to wait till the door opens so we can then leave. And so it takes a little bit. We gotta kind of do a little loop-de-loop. And one. So yeah, the enemies are going. These are basically the enemies you're gonna be facing for a little bit. And first thing we can do against them is just that. It's just get close to them, bait them to attack, which is kind of like a little small dash, and then we walk out. And it's preferred to just do it sideways. For some reason, dodging them sideways is a preferred option instead of just backing out. Primarily because you can run sideways as well as forwards, but running backwards is not a thing as far as I'm concerned. So that's sort of like a let's just say is somewhat of a useful technique in hitless, which is what we call shimming. It's a more of a term that comes out from fighting games, more importantly, which is basically getting inside the enemy's range of attack and then leaving before the enemy commences the attack. And as the enemy whiffs, then we can do some sort of action that sort of favors us when it comes to either killing the enemy or getting away from it and not getting it. So after a bit of that, we get into a cutscene. We find out that the Duke of the game, which is called the Faced Duke or something like that, I forgot his name. He has now a little mask. Is the one behind this whole atrocities in the castle, and also commanding some of these enemies to sort of bait you into trying to get the fake crystal, and then take you out. So we try to escape, but we cannot. And the first thing we do is we get a gun, some bullets, and we dodge this enemy. As you saw, you just walk to the right or like run to the right, and the enemy will completely fail. That's one of the things we're going to be doing. And also to your right, you'll see some crystals there. That is the objective of this game. We need that crystal inside there. But to be able to get that crystal, we are going to need 3 masks. It's going to be the bronze mask, the silver mask, and also the gold mask. They're kind of scattered around the castle. One is in the center of the courtyard, the other one is in the basement, and then the last one is on the right side of the courtyard. As you can see, Noni actually walked a little bit to the enemy, walked back, enemy missed, and on that animation, Noni just got past the enemy without having to worry about anything. Mainly because the enemy is stuck in an animation in which it cannot sort of break and do something else, so you have a bit of time to do that, and we're going to see that pretty often. And then when coming back, you kind of want to see the enemy sort of hug the left side as you walk through the right side. And that's usually how it goes. And then as you can see in the middle, you saw the mask there, so that's going to be... we're going to be needing. And not too shortly here, we're going to encounter two more of them. So this is a good time to sort of talk about like... really short about how many shots it takes to kill them. It takes around 6 to 7. I don't know if there's an occasion where it could be 5, but it takes 6 to 7 shots to kill them. So you do have to sort of plan ahead of how many enemies are there and how many shots you want to spend on them. And you can get more depending on if you miss a couple shots. If you think you might miss more, then you probably want to get more resources. But considering Noni here, Noni's pretty confident in his ability to not miss as many shots, so we're going to see Noni pretty much be as optimal as possible. And which brings me to the other thing, right? In this game, you can sort of do it, I would say, like, maybe you can do it somewhat quick. I would say average runner speed will probably be around maybe 110, 115, or even 120. We will see Noni try to go for sub 1 hour. And if anything, the stars align, we might see a sub 50, but not entirely sure. Might be, might not be. So one of the things is you're wondering, it's like, well, there's a lot of like weird things in the area. How do we take them out? That there's items that we want, but we don't have access to it. This is the first ability that you acquire that allows you to take those things down. And also, if you guys notice real quickly, Noni actually sort of aimed towards the little blue flask, that allows Noni to actually pick up sooner. So it's a bit of a time save. But yeah, we're going to see this ability used pretty often. It's not only used for taking down these sort of strange plants. I think it's not plants. It's like, I guess it's like some sort of part of a Mega Mycete or something like that. It's also going to be used to sort of stun or freeze enemies. So it's going to be very important to know which enemies to use it on and which ones to not. As you already know, this game is a survivor horror, so resource is important. Right off the bat here, you're going to see Noni actually shoot the floor. Or maybe not shoot the floor. Nice. Okay, so sometimes, depending on the situation, apparently shooting the floor sort of forces the AI to do something, and it gives Noni options to see what Noni wants to do. Like, for example, here, Noni shot, and the shot missed, but it's on purpose. It's not meant to hit. It's just meant to force the enemy to take an action. And so forcing the enemy to take an action kind of helps Noni to decide whether Noni wants to engage in it or not. You're going to see another shot here. And ooh, gets grabbed. This won't kill though. That was an unfortunate grab there. As you can see, Noni was supposed to sort of bait it and then walk away from it, and then just get past the second one. The second one is kind of scripted to just walk in and you can get past it without no problems, as you saw. This enemy right here, you don't really see much of him if you're in your Clash of playthrough, but in a speedy setting or anything, if you look to the right, you'll see that enemy. That's an enemy we'll see later. Right now, it's more like a sort of jump scare or like a sort of scare factor, if anything. The other thing about the ability is that it doesn't consume when you're using it on these sort of types of plants or objects. I don't really know what the name is, but when you're using it on them, it doesn't really consume anything. But it does consume ability points on enemies. So those ones in particular, you do have to be careful. And here is the crystal we're talking about. This crystal, like I said, it can only be unlocked once you've obtained the three masks. And we're gonna go for the silver mask pretty soon. So this enemy right here, the way usually runners do is they actually kill him. So it's easier to like get through this part without any problems. But Noni's actually going to bait the enemy and get him out of the door, and then walking without having to shoot it. That means that Noni conserves basically, half a clip. So doesn't have to worry. Now, right here, we're gonna get the next sort of ability upgrade. Right after picking up some bullets. And as you can see, now we have on our bottom right corner of the screen, we have some sort of little dots, white dots. Those are the ability points that we talked about. And so now Noni can engage in these enemies by freezing them. And instead of like shooting them, now you have options, which is really good because, resource management is important and you kind of don't want to spend all your cash on bullets and killing enemies. You might want to get past some of them. This is a perfect example right here. Noni's going to freeze the one on the left, and since the hitbox is so big, we're going to be able to also hit the one on the right side. Which is the beauty of this ability in particular, is that it can hit multiple enemies. Oh, this is another grab. I don't know if this is gonna kill though. Might be close. Will we get another? No. Okay, good. So Noni here is gonna be able to heal. This might be a scary thing here because this is a strat that Noni performs here, where he actually stands on the right side and tries to break this. But yeah, it's not gonna allow him to. Yeah, we're gonna see a reset here. Reset checkpoint for sure. But this is a better option because you really don't have any more heals. I mean, you're already dead, but. But yeah, we're probably gonna see the same strat be performed again. And some of these enemies are sort of scripted in a way they kind of move. The unfortunate situation that happened there is the enemy in the back grabbed Noni, but it's probably as a result of like Noni not being able to move into position as fast enough. Either that or just bad RNG. But the enemy in the front kind of doesn't do much if you stay on the right side. If you stay on the left side, he is very prone to going, attacking you. So, try to see this again. See how this works this time. Oh, super close. All right, so the third thing that you have as your character is also a defensive tool. It can also work as a defensive tool. It's a bit of reminds me a bit of the classic Resident Evil games where you can use knives and stuff. So defensive tools in Shadow is also a thing, and it just all three things. You can use it for these kind of things in front, or you can use it to stun enemies, stop, freeze them, or use it as a defensive tool. It is important to try to conserve them as much, at least for the route that Noni has, because there's a chance he might skip some. But now that he was forced to use them, we might see a bit of deviation here and there. By the way, chat, just so you guys know, this is not easy to do when you're trying to be very optimal, right? There's you can basically just take it a really safe way and do get more resources, but trying to be as optimal as possible is really difficult to actually get the enemies to perform the way you want them to. So far, phenomenal job from Noni. This is also like a bit of a puzzle. You do bottom corner, top left, bottom left, and then top right. And if you stay here, like in the dead center of this door, instead of pushing you left and right, there's a chance you might go down. Oh, almost. Kind of difficult to get, but there's a chance you do go down. So now we're in the basement. And this portion also is pretty scary to do. And the normal way that runners usually do is they break this and break this other one, and now they kind of stay hidden and wait for the big guy to appear. So once he turns around, we're going to just get past him, and he should not notice us. So there we go. And here from this position is pretty good to do this because you will spawn enemies as you move forward. So by doing it from here, then moving forward, then you have a lot of time to actually just get past them. Or if not, then you're gonna have to just go to the right, wait for them to sort of turn around, and then you get a good moment to just get inside here. So it's a bit of a time save as well. And now as we just run, just get out of here. We get that plant. That plant in particular is the one that we use to get some ability points to be able to cast like freeze, slow, and do also sort of stuff with our powers. Right here, this enemy in particular not going to do anything. They're scripted to just walk to the right. This one is scripted to walk to the left. So you just get past them. Instead of being in front of them, you get past them behind them, and they won't be any problems. And that's pretty much escaping. Since we already got the mask, we don't need anything. And we get to chat with a mysterious, what do you want to call this? The mysterious entity, or whatever you want to call it. Basically, it's trying to help Rose just, survive throughout this whole insanity. And so from time to time, we will be given resources, and we get a plant here, plus some ammunition, which is really, really useful. And we also get the painting here to unlock a key to progress the game. So now you already got the painting. Things are evolving. We might see some changes here and there, as you can see in front of Noni already. So things are a little bit different. We get the second mask, which is the bronze. So now we have the silver and the bronze mask, Noni's shooting right there to just get a reaction from the enemy, and so the enemy moves forward, and Noni's capable, able to get past the enemy with no problems. So yeah, these bullets that Noni are shooting are not wasted. And now we're about to do to be honest, in my opinion, a pretty comfy puzzle. I don't know why, I kind of enjoy my time doing this puzzle. Kind of weird, but I did enjoy my time doing this one in particular. You kind of have the predators on one side and then the prey on the other. It's kind of how you do this puzzle, and then you match the predator with the prey. And that unlocks the key.
Trata de volverme loca con esos puzzles.
Yeah, that is completely true. When you want to speed up a little bit, it's kind of difficult to have all the cards in your favor. So one of the important things that runners always have in mind is that when things go bad, you kind of have to improvise a little bit. So runners do their best to try to minimize the damage as much as they can, or prevent any damage as possible when things don't go their way. So usually there's plan B's and C's for such situations. But as most of you guys can tell, it's kind of difficult to really transition from one plan to the other when things are happening pretty quickly. And the situation is pretty instant. But now the second weapon of the game, and probably the most useful gun in the game, the shotgun. So one particular thing that you will see a little bit later Noni do with the shotgun, and it's actually something that is done even in the non-DLC version of the game, the original game, is they will leave the players or the runners will be with only one bullet in the chamber and not reload at all. And that's because it is slightly faster to shoot, reload, and then shoot again than having to sort of shoot and then pump. And so it allows to be able to maybe beat up some enemies before they do any sort of animation, or you just basically increase your DPS by a little bit. So after going there, you forget about the enemies in the bottom, go up here, and you're supposed to also take this one down. There's going to be enemies on the left that are going to spawn. But if you do it rather quickly, you might not have to worry about them. This one's a little bit scary. He's kind of like lurking in the right side, but no problems right there. Then he will encounter enemies on these stairs, I believe. So, because every single enemy is still down there. There it is. So, stun both of them. There might be one to the left here. Like shotgun shot. And then we just get the last mask out of the three. So immediately you kind of get knocked out. I think that's what happened. And you're supposed to like freeze 3 of these sort of thingies. And once you do this one, an enemy will immediately spawn. That's the trigger, and then you kind of like shoot them and then proceed to freezing it. And then lastly, we go for the one in the top. This one's a little bit, like hidden. So when you're capture blaze, you might not see it until later, if anything. And then here we have our mysterious friend saying you did it. He's gonna give us a couple ammos. I believe it gives us a shotgun and handgun bullets, so it's gonna be really nice to have for the later fights. Also, there's a bit of resources on the left side there, but Noni choosing to not actually pick them up. Seems like the amount of ammunition that Noni carries right now is more than enough to do the rest of this section. Up here, we're going to be encountering another enemy in which you can also shimmy. So, get close, walk away. Oh no! These enemies have been so unfair today. Yeah, almost by a little bit. By a little bit, almost could have done the shimmy there. So another enemy here. pretty far away, so that's not gonna be any problems. Just loop around and you'll be fine. Now we're on to put the 3 masks and proceed to a boss fight.
Sí. Por fin puedo librarme de estos poderes. Pero tengo que admitirlo. Los he tenido tanto tiempo
Almost time.
que me choca un poco perderlos.
So right now, as if you read the text, basically Rose thinks it's about time that she lets go of her powers, because as soon as she grabs this crystal, to her understanding, she's going to sort of become a normal human being. And so, kind of doubting whether she wants to do this or not. But we're in it for a surprise, as some of you guys may know.
Venga ya, tengo que luchar contra él.
Alright, so here is the boss fight of this section. This enemy, I would say alright, this enemy has a couple of like animations that are copied from one of the, what do you call them, the first enemy encounter you get on the original game. The Lycans. There's a Lycan boss that pretty much, you're gonna see this boss, and a lot of the animation attacks are pretty much kind of ripped out from those. And so, probably not the grab, but there's the overhead, there's a swipe, you got a certain moment when the boss kind of like starts swinging left and right furiously. And so, the idea is that we're gonna use this sort of, yeah, I guess like corpses that are in the middle. We're gonna run around it because the enemy cannot go through that, and we're gonna try to just wait out an attack, and then on the post animation, you know, the downtime after the animation, we're gonna use it to shoot the weak spot. If we do get a stagger after a couple shots, we will continue to shoot because it's a great moment to do so. So this is basically the first phase. What we're doing is just keep shooting until first phase is done. And here's an overhead. You just keep walking around, wait for it, and then go for the shot. As you can see right here, Noni has no bullets on the shotgun, is waiting to reload the first bullet and then immediately shoot. And so shooting cancels the whole animation of reloading, which is why you're able to shoot pretty fast as well. I think a couple shots here should be enough. Yeah, there it is.
Lo conseguí.
Vaya, qué sorpresa. Es mucho más peleona que el resto de conejitas. Esto me está bien. Hora de sazonar las cosas.
So right here, a pipe bomb just to kill these 2 enemies, and we're gonna be using a pipe bomb for the next 2 group of enemies. And so this is just so we can take them out really quickly. That way we don't use any resources that we have with the shotgun or the handgun, and allows us to get to this boss rather quickly as well. So we're gonna wait for him to do this sort of attack. And we're probably gonna go for the ult strat here, which is just run around until he attacks, and then we go for the punish. There it is. We stun him, and then we can get 3 to 4 shots here. 2, 3, and then 1 more. And so that way he goes away. And so this is kind of like phase 3 that we're going through to now, in a way. What we just witnessed was phase 2. In that sense, there's one more phase after this, the next one that's coming up, and we're gonna use a pipe bomb here just to take care of these 2 enemies again, just to not have to use any of the handgun ammo or shotgun ammo, because we're saving it for the boss specifically. Get 7 shotgun bullets, and then I believe 4 shots here again will be enough. Just wait out just right outside of his area of influence, and then immediately go for 3 to 4 shots. 2, 3, he's gonna get up, then a 4th shot here, and then we start running because he's going to rush us. By staying close here, but you don't have to worry. Oh, he actually did. He's probably going for an attack. There you go. Nice choice. So the boss can also dip and just appear in front of you and just go for an attack. So good process in mind to notice that the boss is doing that and just keep running straight. And now there is this, once we hear this sort of dialogue, that means this is the final moment. So what we're going to do here is we're going to stun. As soon as he comes out, 2 shotgun shots. 1, 2, and GG. If the second shotgun shot doesn't kill, then we go for a stun and we do like 1 to 2 bullet handgun shots, and it should be GG. All right. This area. So, if you guys have played it, this is the Beneviento area. I apologize if I say this, but I also call it the Bene Sleeper area. There's not much happening at the beginning of Beneviento. You're basically going through the same thing as Ethan did, but it kind of tells a different story in a way than Ethan, right? Because when you're doing Ethan, it's more about the baby, which is Rose and all that stuff. But in Rose, it's more about her life as a teenager on school and with all her peers, and you know. So, well, Noni becomes a speedrunner, Giga Chat here, and tries to go fast. Allow me to explain a bit of the whole background of Rose. So at this point in the game, Rose is 16, or at this point, right? Rose is 16 years old, and her full name is Rosemary Winters. Probably not interesting, but I'll say it anyways. And she's basically been struggling with, you know, her powers because a lot of people see her as like a very weirdo, and people are concerned and stuff. And so that whole life of hers, where she's kind of away from her mom because the government kind of wants her to really close, and you know, not having her like relatives close to her or people she can go to, and just feeling super distant from everybody else. She decides to really like find a way to get rid of this, and a man by the code name K approaches her, which is somebody she knows. Said, "Hey, there is a way, but it's in here," which is the Megamycete. And so she is supposed to. The idea is that if she goes inside this sort of Megamycete, or this little like black goop or something, then she can go in there and find the crystal, and that will help her take her powers away. Spoiler alert, that was not Kay, it was somebody else who planned this all along so they can actually take control of Rose, and Rose didn't know about this. But there is the one thing that person did not like, was that yes, she can take her powers away and live like a, you know, normal human being. So that's basically the whole thing. The place we are is called, I think, the realm of, what's it again? It was the realm of something. The realm of consciousness is what this place is called. And so in the realm of consciousness, which, like I said again, has been collecting sort of past experiences from a lot mainly from Ethan, but from other places as well. It's kind of that, how do you say this? It's guiding Rose in through some of the places that Ethan went through. So the Benevento is basically the next logical place to go. And what you're going to be seeing here is we're going to be collecting some dolls to sort of like fill up what was in the table. And these dolls are going to sort of tell the tale of Rose's life and experience on her quote-unquote normal life. So our job is to find the dolls and then put them not just in the table, there's multiple of them. So instead of going for the one in the center, which is where we started, we're actually going to go to the one on the left. And oh my god, this mannequin always gets me. I hate mannequins. Anyways, go to the left here and grab this other doll. And here we're going to be putting 2 mannequins. The doll in the center, which is like blonde haired hair, is actually our protagonist. And then you got Lucy and Catherine, which I don't know who they are, but I guess they're like bullies from her school, the way I see it. Doing that will give us a key, which allows us to access another room. To the left side here, in the original, the whole thing was, you know, this is I think it was like the baby's room. This time it's Jimmy's room, which does anybody know who Jimmy is? I don't know who Jimmy is. Anyways, we're entering Jimmy's room, and we're gonna get Jimmy, the doll. I think it's the doll is Jimmy doll. We're gonna get Jimmy. Jimmy's down here. Jimmy Raynor. Exactly.
Dios, qué miedo da esto.
Also ladders. You guys like ladders? There you go. Thank God I actually didn't mention it, but we went through probably the longest ladder in Resident Evil, which was very early on. Thank God that I had something to say about what we were talking about, because that ladder is it's crazy. So now we got Jimmy. We're going to be able to do the next puzzle. And so one thing that I then said is that the dolls that you actually put on some of these puzzles, you take them back because you need to figure out the other puzzles. So now we have somebody here, which is Jimmy, and then another somebody, which I think is Catherine, and Lucy. So the character in the middle is a protagonist. So we get the last doll out of all three puzzles that we need to do, and this will allow us to do the final puzzle before we proceed. Oh, the mannequin actually left. Wow, oh, the mannequin's in front. God, that got me, dude. Oh my God. I haven't played this game in a while, so like I've for sure studied this run, but I keep forgetting about the mannequins. I always think that the mannequins is like in front. Good job, game. Love me some mannequins. So here we see, which is something that did not happen, but I guess is maybe like something that she expects, or the way she sees herself, something. Basically, she got burned, right? Like, it's like people thought she's a witch, and so witch hunting. That's probably like the way she sees herself in the future, as if she keeps moving in the way she's doing. And now we get a call from a black-haired girl, I think it is. I do not know if it's from the Beneviento. I don't think it's Beneviento. I think we get a call from someone else. Mysterious girl that has been watching Rose all this time, waiting to just get a hold of her and basically show who is the better alpha. Right. So okay. So right here, so the way you kind of do this part, first of all, the mannequins will start moving when you're not looking. This is kind of like what's this old game that we used to play as kid, where you like look at the wall, and then when you look back, you basically everybody who's playing with you is kind of trying to touch you, like touch, like patting your back, and sort of say like, I win, yada yada yada. That's what idea of like, if you don't look, they're moving, but if you look, they have to stay still, and your job is to kind of make them move so they lose. You're basically doing the same thing here, right? And Noni here is going to trigger this door to open, and then look back, and then look again. And this what this does is that the mannequin will move forward because you are not looking. Same thing happens here, but since you're capable of, since Rose can move pretty fast, and you don't really have to be looking back all the time, which is something that I did a lot. And as we can see, Noni doesn't have any need for that. They do move fast, so Noni's gonna look back here, stop them here, as soon as they look, and then continue running. And that way, it stops the first one, so it body blocks the rest of the other ones, and it gives Noni time to just walk in here and interact with the elevator. And it's pretty consistent. Their pathing is pretty much the same, so there's nothing to worry about. And once we're done for the first half of the Beneviento section, we get to the more exciting part of the Beneviento section. So at this point, I'm not entirely sure if we're gonna see Noni go ham. We will see. There might be a chance, I think. But now you're a very small person with a lot of like big dolls. You've been shrinked. And so it's still a bit of a stealth mission in a way because you can't be seen. But there is ways to sort of stop some of the enemies from doing anything. You can't take them down though. You can only freeze them and stop them in their tracks, which gives you time to move on. But right now, Noni does not have resources for that, if I am not mistaken. So we're gonna hide a little bit. This usually non-confrontational here. We don't want to confront any of the enemies. It's better not to. If we do want to, we can do it later. So this is pretty much bread and butter here. Wait for the doll to move to the right, and then we just drop. Right over here, you're gonna see Noni drop this right here, and this is very needed. This is like, you have to do this if you want to progress. But what's happening here is that these dolls are searching for you. But once you drop these things, the dolls immediately start attacking it, thinking that you are that. And so it gives you time to just get past them without no problems. And we're gonna be doing this again over here as well. So the idea is you actually stay on the right side and hide, but if you're cheeky enough, you can be here and you might not get touched by any of them. And even if you do, you kind of get pushed and nothing bad happens. So this is a bit of a time save. There's also a pretty sort of swaggy strat here to do. So right up on top of Noni right now, there's a cage that you need to drop, and there's a lot of stuff we have to do. But we might see Noni do something a little bit different here. And this is a little bit risky, because if you don't get it first try, you might have to do something else. So let's see what Noni chooses to do here. Right position, right aiming. This is really tight. Nice. And now you don't have to go around and then wait for the two mannequins to pass by. We just shape a lot. In here, there's this doll that's supposed to, the mannequin is supposed to actually sort of grab you here. We might not get grabbed. Let's go. Holy. So basically what you do is once you get close to the door, the mannequin will see you. And you will enter. You have to hide under the table, wait for the mannequin to stop by, to pass you by, and then you go past it. But if you keep running and stick to the left side, the mannequin's grab animation does not work on the left side that well. It actually works pretty well on the right side. So it's free. Well, sort of free. There's a bit of RNG into that, where the mannequin actually can get into the door way sooner than it should, and there's a chance you can get grabbed by that, as far as I've been told. But if you do go to the left side, then, you know, mannequin should not grab you, because it tries to grab. The grab animation is weird, so it definitely can grab you if you go to the right side, not to the left. So over here, we're gonna wait for the mannequin to just get past us, and instead of just, oh no, that was too quick potentially. Yeah, this is definitely a reset on checkpoint. That's not something that was expected. We're gonna stop the doll here and try it again. And the idea is to let the mannequin just pass us by, and then we go for the we sort of, what do you guys call that thingy that we just, like, this thing that we're about to see in front? I don't have the name for this. Let's call it a mega flower. How about that? So the mega flower, we go past that and we actually, you know, freeze the mega flower. Ideally here, if you run fast enough, then you can get past this mannequin before the mannequin actually gets to this point, meaning you also save time, and it's pretty optimal. But I think we did it a little bit slightly slow, so it's not a good thing to just rush it. Here's gonna be another moment where it's a bit of RNG, where the mannequin will actually continue, or get to you really quickly or really slow. You can tell by the right side whether the mannequin's gonna do that or not. It seems like we're getting the slow version of the mannequin, meaning that we can keep running. But if it does the fast version, then is almost is really close whether you'll get grabbed or not. Plaga, Venusaur. Some pretty interesting names there. So that's pretty much the end of the chase. Now we're gonna go up to the boss fight after sort of visiting our house when we were a baby. And this is the moment where Rose kind of realized that, hey, wait, I've been here. Wait, that voice. I remember that voice. That's me. And she kind of realizes, oh yeah, wait, the guy who's been helping me, or yeah, our little friend is actually my dad. No way. No way, bro. So we use the keys to open this. I think this is the moment that she realizes it. And now we have to escape. It's not gonna be easy. Because there's a little someone who's a bit jelly that we are the favorite. Actually, if you ask me, if she wouldn't have been jelly or anything, she probably would have also been a bit favorite. They could have both been favorites. She would have been favorite for me. So yeah, this is a bit of like, you know, just keep running section. We're getting this plant, so we're going to be using this to stop some of the enemies that will be summoned here. So one in the middle, one in the left, and then we have the last few groups on the right side. And then we, instead of going straight to the door, there's a path we have to follow. And right here, the camera will be forced to go back, and we're trying our best to just look away from it. This is not something that we have control of, it just happens. And what it does is spawn some mannequins, so our job here is to take these two things down, and once we've done it, we take care of the mannequins here. And by freezing the one in the front, we take care of some of them in the back, and also body block for the rest. And that's pretty much it. We get to the elevator.
Bien, lo has conseguido. Evelyn, esa niña.
Yeah, this is all Evelyn's doing. But to be honest, dude, I really thought that it was not Evelyn's doing from the beginning. I thought it was Beneviento, and then Evelyn out of nowhere just said, hey, this is my show. It's my turn to shine. You really didn't work well, so let me show you how to get it done. We get our third ability upgrade, which is it really an ability upgrade? Maybe it is. I think, well, actually, it's an ability point upgrade. We get 5 points now. And the goal here is to sort of hide while Evie is kind of like rampaging. And we can only attack when she does this right here. Right? It's 3 blasts, and you can see her kind of like holding her head and really being really mad and everything. And so after that, we kind of like aim at her and stun her out of it. So you have to wait. You cannot let, you cannot leave the cover. So right here, 1, 2, 3, and then we go for the freeze. And then she's gonna do her thing in the front. And we're gonna have to hide over here, because now she'll appear in the back. All this is scripted, by the way. All this is completely scripted. And then we freeze her a third time. We're gonna go in and just... This mega plant is going to appear out of nowhere. We're gonna take down the 2 mega plants. And we're gonna hide again. And here's the part that kind of tricks you. You think you have to like stop her again, but all you have to do is just keep moving up the stairs. You don't have to freeze her or anything. And there's wait here, so she does a bunch of blasts. And this is kind of a test of like where you should move or not. But you have to wait till this in particular so you can move. So it's kind of tricky on your first playthrough because you think it's like, oh, 1 or 2 and then I move forward. But no, you gotta wait. And then here's the last part of the fight. we're done with the Beneviento side, which is kind of nice. On my first playthrough, at least on the original, like when you play as Ethan, the Beneviento portion was pretty cool. But if you guys have played, I've tried to do Hitless, it's probably one of the most boring sections ever. And it's no different when it comes to Shadow Rose, at least for the first half of the Beneviento. Now the section that we are having here is kind of the same sort of section in a way that Chris has on the any percent, where we play as Rose, and the enemies are different, of course. Instead of being Lycans, we're fighting the Faceless. And also, a mysterious girl that looks like us starts guiding us.
Son como yo. Igual que en el castillo.
First thing is what we're gonna have here is a couple enemies actually laying in the ground. If you freeze them, you kind of like knock them back. So we kind of want to do this, but they can really body block you, and it can be a pain sometimes. Thank God that they actually stay pretty long on the ground, so we don't have to worry. But instead of shooting those, we just do that, and that way we take care of them. We're gonna have more enemies here up front here, and we're gonna do the same thing, so we don't have to waste any bullets. So only one takes care of two. It's very important that you actually, instead of like taking care of them when they appear, you kind of run past them and then do it again, because that will mean that you have it's much more optimal. You're not only stunning one, you're stunning two of the first time, and then if you look back, you're stunning three because they're all grouped up. So in your casual playthrough, you're just probably gonna do a mistake and just go like, oh, there's only one, let me just stun him and then get past him. It's completely normal. But in Hitless, the way we do this is we just get past the first one because of the animation. The enemy's not gonna attempt to grab us, gives us time to just get past them, turn around, and freeze them. There's a lot of munitions here, and this is kind of like the game telling you of like, yeah, you're about to get into a really big fight. So how about you stock up on some ammunitions and stuff and get ready. And honestly, really good, because you know, sometimes you kind of want to optimize things, and the way it goes is like there's, at least in Resident Evil fashion, there will be rooms with good amount of ammunitions here and there, and you kind of wish there was everything grouped up so it's easier and more optimal. So it's nice when this room in particular, right before the boss, since this part is kind of linear, just to give you a bunch of stuff. And this boss is gonna look very different from, especially very different from how I did it on my Hitless run, and it's also gonna look very different from your casual playthrough. Right after this sort of running section. So I'll explain a little bit before we get there, because I will be able to explain some of it, but also maybe not all of it. So I'll start now. So basically, the next thing we're gonna do is the Miranda fight, and the way usually it goes when you're playing casually is that Miranda will throw you orbs, and you're gonna grab these orbs and refill your ability, and with that, you'll try your best to wait for a perfect moment to stun her. And it can be a bit of back and forth, so it might be difficult to actually nail it. And so, because she tries to move, and your character's animation, the attack animation is pretty lengthy, so there's a chance that Miranda can kind of get away and you'll miss. So throughout the whole course of the fight, you kind of stun her, and then you shoot her, and you rinse and repeat until she's dead. And we're gonna sort of do a bit of that, but instead of letting Miranda do whatever she wants, we're kind of gonna take the control away from her from time to time. Because Miranda doesn't know how to be a gamer. And we kind of want this to be a one-player game. So right off the bat, as you can see, Noni has, like I said, one bullet on the shotgun. And first thing we're gonna do is immediately say hi, hello. Here's a bit of a stun, and give me 5 shots really quickly here. 4 of them will be guaranteed. The 5th one, she might not. Brenda might react, and you're not gonna get a close shot. But I think Noni here did 4 because it wanted to prioritize being able to do the ability. And as Miranda gets up and does a little spin, we go for the ability again. And so this ability consumes 3 ability points. So we need to have 3 ability points. So Noni's gonna be paying attention to that. There might be a bit of a change here. We will see. Because I think Noni's a little bit short on plants. So no, Noni's pretty good. Oh no, Noni is having the time of his life. So as you can see, it's kind of a rinse and repeat kind of thing. Miranda goes up, we let her kind of press a couple buttons, and then we stop her as she's going up. And she comes down, and then every single time we do 4 to 5 shots, and we repeat this a total of like 5 to 6 times, and that would be all she wrote. I think this is the 3rd to 4th time. And so when she does this, she actually can hit you. So Noni kind of goes to the right side, waits for the spin attack, and as she's going up, goes for the ability. So here Noni needs 1 more ability point, so I'm guessing this is the end, and Noni doesn't need any more, potentially. Yeah, this is pretty much the end. So now is like the unskippable. This hit you're about to witness is scripted. There's nothing you can do about it. It's the only way for you to progress, and it takes you around maybe 1 HP or like very low HP. So you walk forward, skip the cutscene, and that says, "Hey, you can do this. You got this," and she unleashes her ultimate attack. And I walk forward and just press a button, and this should be GG. It's taking quite a while. Okay, so this is taking longer than I expected, but it's because when I was watching these fights, I sped it up, so I can understand now. This fight took a while. Anyways, GG, holy, let's go. That's Noni. 5-hit run, not that bad. Not that bad considering some of the enemies actually play a little bit, not fair. Noni did a really good job. Also a sub-hour, like I mentioned. Really good. As we can see, time is 52:51. 2 minutes. 2 minutes, basically 3 minutes away from a sub 50. And I can guarantee you, I've seen Noni do these runs a couple times, and Noni has gotten below that 50. So really good stuff. Thank you so much for this run, Noni, and thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you all. You guys have been nice. I'm very supportive. This has been a really fun run to commentate.
Thank you for commentating, Blasty. That was another cracking run. Yeah, thank you so much, Blasty, for that. And well done, NoNiQ, for another brilliant run. There were rumors flying around that banner ads were popping up in the stream. I don't believe any of them. But I would just like to admit that Team Hitless is not affiliated with Samsung or Xbox. And we were not paid for those ads. Thank you all very much. Well done, Noni. Where is it that we can find you both? What are you two both up to at the moment?
Well, me, you can find me at twitch.tv/ablasty. That's usually where I hang out. Or around Team Hitless. You just look at my name up and just hit me up there too.
Right now, not streaming because I have some classes to heart, so
okay, cool.
You can follow me in my Twitch channel.
Taking a break from the more stressful thing of doing hitless runs to go to a stressful thing of doing like college work. I like it.
Basically.
Yeah. So thank you very much to the both of you once again. Everybody else, it's break time. Go once again, make sure you're drinking plenty of liquids. Go fill up your snacks. We have got Resident Evil Survivor on the way next. Shiny Pockets has made his way back to commentate on this one, and it'll be Nightcast, our runner. So we'll get everything set up for you, and we'll be back very, very soon.